It's been a while. Excuse the wind if the mic's picking up any wind noise. Yeah. Where have I been? Well, I've been quite busy and not in the best of health either. I'll go into that sort of detail at the end of the video if anyone's actually interested. Yeah, so this video, maybe a few more, kind of the videos that I never really wanted to do, but given the world and how fast the world is now changing, yeah, I kind of feel that I should maybe do these videos if it helps anybody. It might not. If you don't maybe like the type of subject that I'm going to be going into, feel free to unsubscribe. Yeah, you know, I like to think we live in a free world that we can do relatively what we like. But yeah, that's changing. And obviously the world over the past few months is not the world it was last year. At no other time since the Cuban Missile Crisis have we come so close to being at World War III. I'm sad to say. The political stadium is changing so fast that a news announcement one evening is out of date the following morning, and then it's changed again by lunchtime. I mean, today a lot of European nations are gathering in Brussels to discuss on how they're actually going to help the Ukraine to deter Russian aggression. There's no other way around it. It is Russia that is at fault. And trying to think, so like during quite shortly into the Russian invasion of the Ukraine, Putin actually let slip, rather than calling it the Russian Federation, he actually said the Russian Empire. So that kind of gives away what his intentions are. I think at the very beginning a lot of people within the military, myself, I thought, you know, give Ukraine maybe 3-4 days before Kiev fell, and it would be pretty much game over for the Ukraine. I suspected that their next target would be Moldova, Latvia, probably then going on to possibly going into Poland. We seriously underestimated the capabilities of the Russian armed forces. They got the technology, but their soldiers have got a bit soft. Thankfully. And also, when it comes down to necessity is the mother of invention, and those little drones that the Ukraine forces have utilised brilliantly have done very well. They've basically taken out all of Russia's tanks and military personnel vehicles and so forth. They've wreaked havoc. But anyway, the larger scale of this is obviously now Europe is scrambling to rearm itself, because let's face it, at this moment in time we don't have that guarantee from worth the paper it's written on. And yeah, that's what part of the meeting is today. It will definitely worrying times. Now, people like you and me, you know, we can watch all the different news outlets. We create our own opinions. Unfortunately, some people choose to listen to information that is obviously false. There's other information out there, like there's AI generated stuff that is quite clever. But if you look at the detail, everything's in the detail. You can see that it's not real. But what can we do about it? Well, the grand scale of things, there are things we can do. We can tell our governments what we feel, how we feel our governments should act. Whether they listen or not is another matter. It'd be nice to find a handy spot on here to sit down, but I'll turn around because I haven't got a huge amount of time. I've actually got to go back to work. So yeah, we can speak to our governments, be outspoken on what our opinions are for the little good that it will possibly do. The old age thing, I would say, of hoping for the best but prepare for the worst. Now, a lot of the time when you say World War III, everyone just assumes nukes. Now, if it comes to that, unless you've got a shitload of money, and then you can bury yourself deep enough in the ground with millions of litres of fuel and be able to recycle your air, your water, have enough stored food to last you approximately about 8 to 10 years to survive the nuclear winter, then yeah, you haven't got a huge amount of hope, to be honest. There are things you can do. I'm going to explore a lot of these things. I'm going to put these into videos of how you can prepare, because preparation is always key to everything. So I'm looking into myself and the stuff that I mean, there's things I do know, and there's things that I know that work. So I'm going to share what I can with you. This is what these videos are kind of going to be about. It's sort of prepping. Never really been a fan of the term itself, and I kind of, you know, it was a little bit I was in one of those. It was a bit wacky, but hell yeah, let's go for it. These are kind of going to be prepping videos. In my opinion, I think a nuclear world war is going to be the absolute and utter last resort. Everybody knows how devastating a nuclear weapon is. They can be deployed in various different forms and detonated in different ways. Predominantly altitude makes a huge difference. I'll go into that in a video. I will do a specific video on that thing. But there's loads of other things. Like currently at the moment, it's quite obvious that the US is going into a trade war with Canada, Mexico, China. China have said back at them that we will fight whatever war that you're prepared to give us. We will fight it until the bitter end. And they did say whether that is a trade war, a economic war. They didn't actually say military war, but they basically meant a military war. They are prepared to fight to the bitter end. I mean, come on, guys. I've got friends in the US that voted on both sides, I'm not one to go into politics particularly. I've got my own opinions. I kind of like to keep my opinions to myself. But you managed to piss Canada off. How? They're pretty much the friendliest nation on earth. That are always, they apologise more than us Brits, and you've managed to piss them off. Anyway, so there's lots of different ways that this can go. Economic war, with tariffs and whatnot, which is a load of rubbish. I'm not going to go into it. It's just stupid. Putting tariffs on something, all you do is you hurt the people that's in your country, not the others. Yeah, it has a slight knock-on effect, but not that much. Anyway, but inflation's going to go up. Now, let's put a scenario. The US put tariffs on UK products. We put more tariffs on them. They are currently subject to VAT, I believe, which is 20%. Don't tell Trump that, because he might send us 20% tariffs coming back. He might do it anyway. Anyway, shut up. So everyone's already feeling the pinch. So inflation starts going up. So what can you do? Well, you can buy more now while it's cheaper and stockpile it. That's one kind of answer. Hopefully, soonish things settle down. You've got a surplus amount of food that you can kind of fall back on when times are maybe a little bit harder. You might have something breaks, you've got to replace it, and you're going to be strapped for cash. So that maybe that month between paychecks, food's going to be tight. But if you've got something to fall back on, then it's going to be a bit easier. There's lots of different things. And I'm kind of going to explore those topics as opposed to being out in the woods. I love being in the woods, don't get me wrong. I have moved recently. This is 2 minutes from my doorstep. It's beautiful. I've left the big city. Finally. I toiled and slaved away and managed to purchase my own house. And I'm currently trying to do it up on a shoestring budget. That's another thing. Knowing how to do your own repairs on a property, whether it be rented, which you're not really supposed to do that, down to them, but in a worst case scenario, it's the place that you live, it's where your family is, and if a storm happens or, God forbid it, a bomb drops and nearby, doesn't even have to be on your house, but nearby blows your windows out, you're going to need to know how to even just temporarily fix it. So various different things like that. These are the sorts of kind of things I'm going to touch upon, like things like first aid, food prepping, what types of food you can, are good for storage, water filtration. A lot of this comes down stems from bushcraft. There's a nice crossover. So these are like I said, these are the things I'm going to explore. A lot of it's going to be more of a vlog style of a video. If the weather's nice, I might go outside like today and do it, because it's nice to get a bit of vitamin D on your face. From that, let's just be clear. I know some people who've got dirty minds, but from the sun, the big nuclear fusion device in the sky. But yeah. Otherwise, it'll be in my basement. I've got a nice big basement, a big double basement. It's currently got quite a lot of crap in it, but I need to sort stuff out. But this is going to be a little bit of a journey. That's what it's going to be. So I guess these are going to be kind of prepping videos. Yeah. And you can, like as before, you can put questions in the comments box below. I will do my very best to answer them if it's something that I don't know, I will look it up. I will try and find out, and I will try and answer to the best of my ability these questions. I mean, I've got questions myself. Something in the undergrowth. Could be some deer. Or a dog. Squirrel. Birds. All sorts. Anyway. So this is just a bit of an introductory video. I did put like a little teaser thing out. 15-second thing that I played around with. So yeah. And if you didn't know, I have got another YouTube channel, which I haven't put much on that either recently, because I've not been able to get out. I do metal detecting and look for history and treasure. And yeah. And I would like to end this little video on saying to the 5,070 subscribers that have loyally stuck around for 2.5 years without me putting any content out, I salute you. Well done. And thank you. And you've waited a very, very long time. Way too long. And yeah, thank you for sticking around. So, I need to get back because I need to get ready to go back to work, because I'm one of those that do a split shift. That's why I look like, even though it's been 2.5 years, I look like I've aged about 15. Just, that's the way the world works now. You have to do what you got to do and work the hours that you got to work. I currently have a split 18-hour day. If my car was working, but hopefully that's going to change in the next couple of weeks. Although the 40-minute walk in the morning is 40 minutes, half an hour walk in the morning up a big hill has been improving my health. Anyway, I'm going to shut up waffling on. That's what a lot of these videos are going to be. Me waffling. But waffling with information that hopefully you will find useful. And until then, bye for now, and hopefully it's a nice sunny day wherever you are, and you can kind of feel all the crap that's going off in the world, even if it's just for a few moments. But yeah, see you later, dudes. Right, hopefully this isn't too dark. I'm in my basement. So what has been happening with me since I last put a video out, which is nearly 2.5 years ago. So I think kind of back then I'd said about my mum having dementia, that she'd just gone into care. Well, it wasn't a huge amount of time after that that my mum actually passed away. In fact, it's coming up to 2 years. It will be in a few days anyway. So yeah, it was a very rapid decline in the health. And yeah, it was a hard time. From my mum passing, gratefully, I was able to put towards purchasing a house. I've left the council flat behind, thankfully, because that was a horrible. The flat itself was okay. It was just the rest of the people that was in the block of flats that were all junkies, and yeah, it was. Sleep was a premium. Let's just put it that way. So I've been busy kind of doing up this place. Even like the wall behind me last night, I was re-liming, or lime washing it. I bought it. I managed to get it on a reasonable cheap side. It had got still got a few issues that I'm sorting out. So yeah, that and work, because after my mum had gone into care, I managed to then pick up an extra shift at work. So I do a split shift, which isn't ideal, but I do. Free time now is literally just weekends. And then back end of last summer, my car decided to start going through some weird electrical fault, which I'm still yet to find out exactly what it is. Because with everything else, obviously money's tight. I've got a mortgage on this to pay. Thankfully, I can get to work via public transport, but it means I have to get up at 3:30 in the morning, walk for 40 minutes. No, not quite 40 minutes, probably about 35. Cross the border into Sheffield, then get a bus, which then takes an hour, so I can get to work for 6 a.m. And then I come back. Go on. I come back. Don't you be getting in the way, mister. All right, come on. No. No, come on. And then I do it again, but I can get a bus direct from the village later on in the afternoon, and then I don't get home till about 8 o'clock at night. So I get very little time to do hardly anything. And what little time I do get is, I'm trying to improve the house, fix things, and just generally get from A to B. I have been doing metal detecting. I haven't actually done that much. Last year I only went out. I think I did 10 videos on my other channel, Dirt Digger Dan. 10. I think it was 10 videos for the entire year last year. I have been now once this year so far. Mainly that's because more recently because of lack of transport. And also time as well, so which has been a shame. That channel has done ridiculously well. It took time, like like most YouTube channels do. Very few do really well very quickly. Let's just put it that way. You've got to work at it. I think when was it? Was it last year or the year before? No, I think it was the year before. I'd found a watch. As you can tell, I'm not particularly into watches. I had a watch on the beach. It was a Patrick Felipe, well, it turned out to be a Patrick Felipe knockoff, a very good knockoff. To start with, I thought it was the real thing. Me being naive about watches, not really knowing. It looked pretty genuine. Looking into it more, it wasn't. But that video, and I did sort of clickbait the thumbnail a little bit, but hey ho. When you're doing YouTube, you do want to get as many views as you possibly can. I'm not going to deny that on that one. It did spectacularly well. It was what I thought it was at the time, and it's had. I think that video had like 700,000 views or something like that. It monetized that channel. I were already over 1,000 subscribers at that point, but now I think I'm nearly at 8,000 subscribers on that one. I'm going to carry it on, just when I've got time. Doing this one, the Survive the Wild, same. That's why I never put a video up saying that's it, I'm done, anything like that. I wanted to leave my options open. And it wasn't really until shortly after doing, well, in fact, I was in the hammock in the last video and I was kind of chilling out. It was the first time I'd had any chance to just get out and have a bit of time for myself. And I was contemplating it.
you know, it was nice to have a bit of time for me. I think one of the other things with the Survive the Wild channel as well was it started to feel that I was no longer doing the content for myself. It, I was the fun for me was going out of it a bit. I know you guys loved seeing me go out and doing just camping. But in terms of shooting a video, doing camping, there's only so many things that you can do before it gets samey and you just can't repeat the same thing. Then it just boils down to location. And I was running out of places to go as well. Plus, after lockdown, which was happening, so many people were doing it. A lot of spots that I knew about, now suddenly other people knew about it. I was going into woodland that you might see, you could spend the entire day in there and you might see one person, you might hear maybe another, or you know, a couple other people in the far distance. But these quiet areas then suddenly got busy because people were out and appreciating the outdoors, which was great. You know, I love, you know, it's fantastic that people went out and did that. But in terms of me making the content of me going out, and you know, it made it very difficult to actually film something without capturing somebody's voice or a dog barking relatively close by. So, I mean, we haven't really got that much wilderness here in the UK. And the wilderness that we do have, pretty much all, you know, in Scotland or some places in Wales, you know, it's costly, you know, to travel to. So these videos, like I said in the beginning part of this, the videos that I'm kind of going to do from here, for now, at least, are going to be more just me talking to camera. I mean, let's face it, on my old videos, if you watched all my old videos, or a lot of them, I talk a lot. Some people like it, some people don't like it. You know, can't please everybody. Everyone's different. So, I'm doing what I can, when I can. I've got to think of my health. That's the other thing. I found out last year that I've got, and it's not particularly through diet, because I've always eaten well. I've treated myself to steaks when I've been out camping, but I've always eaten well. I've always looked after myself. I've exercised well. I mean, I've done whiskey. I've done some serious endurance bike rides. I mean, one example, in fact, I found the article the other day. I was sorting through some stuff. From a local newspaper. I was on the local radio I cycled unsupported from Whitehaven, which is on the west coast of Cumbria, to Robin Hood's Bay, which is on the east coast of the UK here. The route that I took was 200, just shy. There was 198 miles. There was 10,000 feet of climb, and I did it in 26 hours straight. It rained for 24 of those 26 hours as well. So that's an example. I think the following year I did that same ride again with a friend who was partially sighted. We did it over 3 days at that time, and on the last day we did do 100 miles because we had to ride down to Scarborough to get the train back as well. And then I think it was the year after that, I did 850 miles in 7 days. Again, unsupported. Basically went from Sheffield, where I used to live, to the east coast. It's basically Skegness. And I followed the coastline all the way down through, went through London, down to the south coast. Along the south coast, hopped onto the Isle of Wight, did a lap of that. And then up towards, I think I went through like Bath, Bristol, then across the Bristol Channel into Wales, went up through the Wye Valley, like towards Stoke, up back through the Peak District and then back into Sheffield. It was ridiculous. The first few days was kind of perfect weather, sort of like low 20s. It was a bit muggy, but then once I got to the south coast, it was. I think when I got onto the Isle of Wight, it hit 35 degrees, and it pretty much stayed like that for all the way back north. So like one side of me was red. It was. I wasn't burnt, but it was just red. Yeah, it kind of looked ridiculous because my arms didn't match. It just happened to be the way that the direction that was going, orientation or something. Throughout the day, my right side got more sun than the left. As you know, well, I've been doing a lot of some of these camp out videos in the past. I've walked 20 miles to a camp spot. I've walked from where I lived in Sheffield right out into the Peak District, and then I've walked back. So yeah, I was quite surprised when I found out that. Well, I started. It was first thing in the morning. I was getting up, getting ready to go to work. I woke up and it was only a slight gradient, and I was starting to get chest pains. And it was pretty much every morning. It hurt. It felt like I was kind of on the verge of having a heart attack. And I looked up. I knew what it was the first time. Oh, I've got a good idea. I went on a bit of a oat eating fest, religiously eating oats, and before every meal, because oats can help control cholesterol in your body, and then it started happening again about 8 months later. Anyway, even with that, so I went to my doctor, had a bunch of tests, including a heart scan, and got confirmed that I'd got early onset of angina, which I'm now on medication for and probably will be for the rest of my life. So I'm on statins, blood thinners, beta blockers, even though my blood pressure and heart rate's still really low. In fact, it was funny when I was having the scan, they hook you up to an ECG afterwards because they have to sort of like give you another bit of a drug that slows your heart rate a bit down. And my heart rate was so low, the machine thought I was going into cardiac arrest, where I was actually fine. But that's more of a preventative sort of measure than anything else. But the plan of attack on that thing is that I'm going to be on, particularly the statins, for the next, well, I've been on them just over a year, so about 4 years. And then once the inflammation and the soft plaquing that's developed it's the main vein that supplies the blood to my heart. The valves and the aorta, the valves in and out are actually in pretty decent condition. It's the vein that supplies is it the aorta? I can't remember exactly, but it's the main one that supplies the blood to my heart anyway. That's the one that's not in a good state. So in a few years' time, hopefully it'll have stabilised enough that they can fit a stent, and then that'll open it up, and I should be a lot better. I'll be able to move around a bit easier without it feeling like I'm going to have a heart attack. Although I have kind of managed to, I have felt better since I've been on the medication. I've got what they call the GTN spray as well, in case I do have problems where I can feel it hurting. Spray that, opens all the capillaries in your body, gives you a headache for about 10 minutes, but yeah, it stops you from having a heart attack, or potentially. So yeah, that's been that. What's the other thing? Oh yeah, I'm waiting to find out from when I'm going to have surgery on the hernia that I've got as well. So I have to be careful. So these are all the reasons why I haven't been uploading. So I kind of hope you appreciate that a bit. Like I say, I'm going to do these. So survive the wild, be prepared. Given everything that's happening in the world politically, especially from across the pond and over in good old Rusky land, everywhere in between, the world has gone absolutely bonkers. So I'm going to kind of be giving survival tips on surviving that. I mean, it doesn't even potentially have to be, you know, a world war scenario. These tips can go for many different things. Does that sort of like disaster related? But that's what I'm going to do. I've always had, because of what I've done in the past, and also with the bushcrafting videos and with Survive the Wild that I've done, there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of things that still apply from a wilderness situation to an urban situation, and there's other bits that I've kind of had to sort of like re-jog my memory as well, and plus things change as well over time. So the first one that I'm going to do, it will probably be on sort of like food storage, and then I'm gonna get the big one out of the way, trying to survive a nuclear event. Want to get that one out of the way. I mean, the likelihood of that happening, even in a World War III scenario, I believe is fairly low. I mean, let's face it, it's the last resort. When all else fails, when a country thinks that there is no other way out of it, that's when they'll resort to it. And it's because for the vast majority of us, let's be truthfully honest about it, the devastation is unthinkable. Ooh, excuse me. It is unthinkable. That's why I think that it's unlikely, but it's good to know, if that was the case, what you could do to maximise your chances if you wanted to. That's the thing. You might not necessarily want to survive a nuclear war. But I'll go into all that in that video. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching onto this. I know this bit I've rambled on and it's longer than the actual intro video. I just kind of wanted to get this out of the way so you know where you stand with me. Like I said, I'm kind of going to try and get as many of these videos done in the short space of time as possible because of the situation, and it is also rapidly changing. Like I said, I've checked the news several times today and things have changed. Now, that didn't used to be the case. Something had happened one day, something might happen a few days later, or possibly the next day. But this is like, things change almost from hour to hour at this moment in time. It's a bit difficult to keep up with. So I want to try and get these videos out kind of as quickly as possible so they're as up to date as possible. Anyway, thanks for sticking around, guys. All 5,075 of you, I've actually gained 2 subscribers just off that little teaser. And I will see you in a video very soon. Bye for now, and thanks for watching.